Well, hi everyone, it's Tiffany with Ready Set Crop, and I am here with a live process video. So if you're joining us live, thanks for being here. Nice to see you on a very cold Friday night. Maybe it's warmer where you are, but it's very cold where I am. And if you are catching the replay, thanks for watching. We will have this replay available on our Ready Set Crop Along group as well as on our YouTube channel. So if you're finding us in either one of those places, I'm happy to have you here. If you're watching the live, feel free to jump on and say hello or ask any questions or comment as I'm working. Move this aside. I am working in my 8x8 album tonight. I am working on my December 2025 album. So I do a December Stories album every December. Well, I do it every January, February-ish. But it sort of documents my month of holiday celebration things. And I don't do any of the documenting in December. I just sort of enjoy life and enjoy all the fun that the season has to offer. But then when mid-January comes, I'm usually ready to make a plan and start scrapping. So I did, I have a little cheat sheet here that throughout December, I would write down events that I did and the dates and everything. And then this has been helping me to know what pictures I need to print and what pages I'm going to do. And then I get out some Post-it notes and I start kind of mapping out where things are going to go in my album. And it's just a really fun process for me because once December's over, for me, it kind of feels like, oh, now it's winter and now there's nothing to look forward to. So this is a fun way for me to kind of enjoy the holidays over again, kind of relive all those fun moments and scrapbook them. And it's a nice way to spend January and February. So this is my cover page. I'm still going to add a little bit more to this and do a little journaling about my reason why. And then I did already do one other page in here. Let's see. Oh, I have this one here and this one here. This layout is available as a process video on our Ready Set Crop YouTube channel. So if you want to see this one, Karen and I did a crop along where we each followed a sketch and made this layout. And then this one, sneak peek, is going to be next week's Ready Set Crop Along. And this morning we were filming a couple of YouTube videos for our upcoming postings, and maybe because it's so cold, Karen's Wi-Fi was not cooperating. And so we got kind of partway through the page and we had to stop because Karen's Wi-Fi just kept cutting out and everything. So that didn't make for good television. So I figured, why not hop on here and do a live tonight? I was going to just finish the layout, but I'm like, oh, I'll finish it with everybody here. And so you can kind of see my process. So this side is already started. I have this side to work on, and we were following a project recipe. Off the top of my head, I don't know what the project recipe is, but I will link it in the description afterwards. So if you're following along and you want to see the instructions, I just print a little picture of it, a screen grab when I'm printing my photos. So I love Creative Memories project recipes, but I use them as sketches. I usually don't follow the cutting guide because I'm typically scrapping something different than a 12 by 12. For an 8 by 8, it works pretty well because the measurements are, it's just going to be shrunk down a little bit. Typically, I'm working in a scrap journal, which is a 10 by 6 3/4. So I really have to do some changes because it's a rectangular page instead of a square page. But for this, I'm going to follow it fairly closely, at least on the right side. The left side, I have a few more photos, so it'll be a little bit different. But that's what I'm working with, this teeny tiny little printout here that I'm going to use as my guide. And so what I am scrapping tonight are pictures of my Christmas tree, and my mom and my sister came over and decorated it for me because that's something that I don't enjoy doing and they do. And so that was fun. It made it a lot more fun to have them doing that. And I just unpacked ornaments. That was great. And then on this side, I have kind of pictures of decorations around the house. So yeah, it's just kind of Christmas decorations happening on this page. So I've already placed down this red paper and this tree paper here. And I know that I want to do a strip of photos on this side and then add these here. But I need to make the strip fill this whole piece, so I'm going to grab a piece of white paper to do that. Hey, Karen. So I'm just using a scrap piece of white to mount these on. I think this is a 2-inch strip. Yeah. So I'm going to cut like 2 1/4. So like I said, it is cold where I am. Hopefully it's warmer where you are, but it's looking like no matter where anybody is in this country, it's cold. We're all dealing with cold weather. It feels particularly cold to me because my craft room is in my basement. I'm in the craft cellar, and I don't have heat down here. And normally I have a little space heater that keeps me nice and toasty while I'm crafting, but we're having HVAC issues at work, and I brought my space heater to work, and sadly, that's where it is. So I am quite cold down here. Now I'm hoping that I'll get a snow day on Monday. So when I go to work tomorrow, I have already made myself a note to bring my space heater home, because my hope is that I can craft on Sunday and Monday. But if I don't have that space heater, I'm not spending too much time down here because it's just too cold. So I'm going to spread these out and leave the spot for journaling in the middle, I think. Hi, Pat. Happy Friday. I have these pictures here, just a couple of, the stockings and a little assortment of decorations. And then this one here, I have a glass head that my friend Stephanie gave me as a wedding gift a million years ago. And so the glass head periodically gets a seasonal hat. So he has a witch hat for the fall, and he has a Santa hat. Right now, he doesn't have anything on his head. I should put a winter hat on him so that he's not cold. I'm sure it's cold when you have a glass head. I have an assortment of oddball things in my house that make me happy, that I'm sure other people would be like, why do you have a glass head? But I registered for it because I thought it was hilarious, and my good friend Stephanie was willing to purchase it. So it's one of my treasured items in my house. And taking photos of all the holiday decorations is just one of those things that makes me so happy, just to see from year to year, oh, I forgot I had that decoration, or I wonder where that one went, or it's just nice to see how your things change and how you set things up differently through the years. So I'm going to put that, I'm going to think of where I want these photos to go. I think I will matte these on white as well because they're kind of busy. Put that there. Yes, of course, Stephanie was the one to buy me a glass head. I'm sure anyone else that looked at my wedding registry thought, well, that's strange. I don't think I want to buy that, but she saw it and thought, that's great. It was at Pier 1 Imports, if you can believe it. It was the oddest thing to have, but you can find them on eBay now for kind of valuable. This is one of my favorites. So I have a bunch of frames that are that I put out at Christmas time that have pictures of my kids through the years. And I don't know if you can see, this is my son. The first time we did a photo of him with Santa, and he was just looking up at Santa and going, uh-oh, who's this guy? And then my daughter in preschool with a little elf hat on, just so cute. And then this teeny tiny little tea set. I got this thrifting last year, and it's just the sweetest thing. So I'm going to matte these on white. I'll trim this one down a little bit. So like I said, if you didn't get a chance to watch this live, we are going to have the replay available on our Ready Set Crop Along group, and then also on our YouTube channel. And we will try to do that with all of our lives. Karen and I have a goal of trying to do lives regularly. along with the regular YouTube crop along videos that we do. If you are someone that comes to our retreats, you know that I am the night owl and she is the early bird. So if you're watching a live with me, it will be after 8 p.m. And if you're watching a live with Karen, it will be well before 8 p.m. because that's how our brains operate. I feel far more creative the later it gets. My brain in the morning just really takes a while to get started. But Karen, fortunately, wakes up ready to go. So, you might get some lives in the morning with Karen, which is great. And then I'll watch the replay. Although I can watch a live in the morning, I just can't crop along. And then our hope is that you will feel inspired and want to crop along with the things that we do. And we will have albums in our group so you can add your layouts into the albums. Because the thing is, you get inspired, somebody else gets inspired, and it's just fun to share. This is a sharing hobby. All right, so I'm going to put these down. Like that. And the project recipe calls for a few little thin strips here. So I'm going to I'm working with the Magic of Christmas collection, which is this year's Christmas collection. But last year I was using Christmas cheer, and there was some layout that I did that we needed to cut. I cut a bunch of these little tiny strips, and I saved them because I didn't use them all. So I am going to grab a couple of those. And then I'm going to cut a couple out of another color as well. Let's see. I'll grab a couple of those. So I'm going to swap out my blade to the scallop. There are 2 new blades that came out in the fall. If you didn't get them, let's see, Rhythm and Twist are the 2 new ones. So if you're someone that wants to have all the blades, those are the 2 latest. The scallop is the one that I use probably the most. So the other side of this tree paper, this has a nice blue background. The other side has this really pretty blue background. So I am going to just cut a couple of strips of that to use along with the green. Now, very important, take out that scallop blade or whatever decorative blade you use and put your straight blade back in. Otherwise, you're going to forget, and then you're going to trim a photo that's going to have a nice scallop edge, which might not be the end of the world, but sometimes it is, so just don't forget to swap that blade out. All right, so I'm going to add this little piece here. Let me put it as far as I can and then add this green one here just to fill up that space. Yeah, like that. And I'm grabbing my repositionable just because this is a tiny space. These are tiny little pieces. I'll try to line this up the best I can. I don't think my red is 100% even. Oh, I already did that wrong. Good thing I used repositionable because I wanted to do it this way. That is the beauty of repositionable. You have that time to make that change when you didn't get it right the first time. So we have a retreat coming up. If you are in the New England area, we're going to be at Devon's Devon's, Massachusetts, in March, and that will be here before we know it, and hopefully it will be warmer. And then that one is sold out, but we do have spaces in our Spring Fling event, which is April 30th through May 3rd. We're going to be at Great Wolf Lodge in Fitchburg, Massachusetts, and we do have spots for that. So if you're ever interested in more info on our events, you can go on to ReadySetCropEvents.com and find out what we're working on. All right, so that is kind of good. I'm going to leave this spot here to do a little bit of journaling. And now I'm going to work on this side. So I had already I trimmed this piece of red. That's going to be, you can see there's like one big piece that's the yellow, and then the second piece has like the banner cut. So I have another piece of the tree paper. Then I'm going to go like this and do the banner. And so I just make a cut down the center, and then I go from the left side and cut at an angle into the center. And then I go from the right side and do the same thing, just to make a quick little fishtail there. Put this down. It is, it's fun to work in an 8x8, but it's tricky because you have to make your photos small because you don't have a lot of space. An 8x8 is not the biggest piece to work with. So I typically scrapbook 3x4s anyways. That's just the size that I like to use for photos. But in this, I think I'm probably going to do a lot of 2x2s like these are, because you can fit, you know, if I have a lot of photos to put on a page, a 2x2 will give me that more space, because I need to have space for all the stuff, all the goodies. And now this doesn't call for any strips like on this one, but I just want to carry that over. I don't like to have a layout that's not balanced. So I'm going to add another little strip of the scallop over there. So I went out today and did grocery shopping along with every other person in New England. I was at my local super Walmart and got all the stuff for chili and cornbread and banana bread and chocolate chip cookies. Because crafting and baking are two things that I love to do, and especially if I'm going to be home all day Sunday. We've got a ton of snow coming, and or in the plans anyways, and so I'm not going anywhere. I will just be baking and eating, apparently. But I will, chili freezes really well, so I will freeze a lot of my chili and bring the cookies to work. I love to bake, but I don't want to eat all the cookies, so luckily I have coworkers that appreciate my baking. So let's see, making a mess here. All right, so I like that. I like that it's carrying the scallops over to the other side. And so now I have my big picture of the tree, and then I have these two smaller pictures of my mom and my sister, and I am going to matte those in white the way I did these, because otherwise they just kind of blend into the background. And you know, I have never been someone that enjoys decorating the tree. It's just a task that I don't find fun, but I've always, I do enjoy taking all the ornaments out, unwrapping them and looking at them and going, oh, remember when we got this one? And so I was still able to do that. And my mom and sister just put them all on the tree. And I don't care where they go. If you want to put them, I mean, they're very good about, you don't put big ornaments at the top and little ornaments at the bottom and all that. They know the rules. But it was really nice to have them help with that task. And my tree is still up because it's a fake tree and because it's just so pretty. Having the lights and It's a fake tree, so it just looks nice. I might take down my ornaments this weekend and pack those up and kind of start the process of putting things away. Trying to see how I'm going to overlap these because I want that banner to show up, but it might not. I might just have to trim these more. All right, I'm going to trim that one. I haven't done a live in a long time, and I really enjoy them, so hopefully this will be something that we can put back in our regular routine. Oh. All right, I didn't think that through. So I'm gonna try to trim my photo a little bit more. There we go, that works. And I'm gonna trim this tree too, just so I can. The other thing that I feel like it's okay that my tree is still up is I do a snowman tree. It's all snowman ornaments. So it's, still fine to have it up. Because it's just snowman. I mean, it's still fine either way. Nobody's showing up at my house to say, it's past the time, it needs to come down. All right, I like that. That still gives me a spot down here to do some journaling. So now I'll start sticking these things down. Oops. And I might not do too much embellishing on here because there's really a lot already going on. I do have a sticker that I had pulled that I want to use, so I will grab that. So this was from last year's collection, and I saw this decorate the tree, so I'm going to grab that one and put that there. And I grabbed these cards thinking maybe I would put that somewhere, but I think it's just too big. I don't think it's really going to fit. Maybe the Deck the Halls. I'm going to look through my stickers and see. These are from the variety mats, but I think they're just too big for this page. I buried my stickers. All right, let me see what we have for stickers here. Something about decorating would be nice. None of those. All right, there's nothing. Let's see, maybe I could just do, Deck the Halls. There we go. Deck the Halls. There. Oh, why don't I just put it right there? Because I don't really need to say anything. That's cute. Okay, I'll do that. It's like I saved it for that exact reason. All right, I'm gonna see if I need anything else. I might put some twine because I love a nice piece of twine, and I had wanted to do that. So I'm gonna see if I can, yep, I'm gonna wrap it around this white paper here. That was my intent in the beginning and I just forgot. Sometimes when you're chatting while scrapping, you forget. I'm gonna try to wrap it around a couple of times. There we go, and then just tie a little knot. I don't do bows. Just one of those things that trying to make a nice bow is more frustrating than it's worth for me. So I just tie a knot and call it a day. My Christmas album tends to be one where I'll add extra embellishments because it's just fun to add a little bit of extra to it. So then I think I will try to do the same thing up here and wrap it around the top of that piece. Just to bring it over to the other side. I don't always have to match everything, but I do like to have it balanced. So if I have twine on one side, I want twine on the other side. Oops. My hands are cold down here. It's hard to tie this. My cat keeps coming down to see what I'm doing, but then he goes right back upstairs. He's like, oh no, it's too cold down here. I don't want to be down here. He'll be waiting on the couch. All right, so there I've got a little twine there. Okay. So I think I will end up just doing, I mean, I don't need to say a lot really, but I could write it here. I could write all along here on the red if I wanted to talk about my mom and my sister coming over to decorate. If I have more to say, I could do that here. And then I could add a little label or something if there's anything I want to say in particular about my decorations. But other than that, I think that is pretty good and ready to go in my album. I'm happy with how that came out. Really fun. Another 2-page spread for my album, so that's exciting. Yeah, I need to get out of the basement. I can set up upstairs in my guest room, and I guess I should do that. It's just I have to plan, then I have to say, well, what stuff do I want? What stuff do I need? And but I probably should, especially for this weekend, so I can spend some more time crafting. So I think that's it for tonight. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a great rest of your weekend and you stay warm and you don't have to shovel too much. And we'll see you again soon. Bye, everybody.